living in one remote area, they want to sell their wares. Then through the e-post, they can actually host them on the site, and anybody in India can go to the site, look at the wares, send the money to the account and get the wares through e-post. Through e-post. Because now we have also launched, day before yesterday, a system through e-post where you can track your parcel. So the citizen will be able to track. If you sell your wares through e-post and send it through e-post to the vendor, the citizen will be able to track, and the vendor will be able to track as to when it's reaching him and where it is. That was launched again day before yesterday. You can then imagine the kind of transformation that is going to happen when we change the equation, when we ensure that instead of the agriculturalist or the craftsman going to the market comes to the craftsman. That's the transformational role of platforms like these. In healthcare, instead of the patient going to the hospital comes to the patient. In education, instead of the child having to go to university, the university comes to the child. This is going to happen, and it's not going to happen many, many years from now. We are committed in the next couple of years to connect 26,000 colleges in India. We are committed to connect 600, 700 universities in India through the e-learning platform. And that's our national knowledge mission and the national knowledge network that we're going to put in place. What does that mean? And once the fiber optics are in place, what does that mean? It means that any student can access a lecture in any other university and earn credits for it. What will this do? It will change the nature. It will transform the education system, because students will only look to access lecturers who are good. And this will increase competition within the system, because those who are not good will not be accessed. You can then actually determine also remuneration of lecturers depending on the access of students, because that's a clear reflection as to how good the lecturer is and how good the teacher is. You can get, there will be a concept called meta-university. In other words, you don't have to get a degree from one university. You can take 8 lectures from different universities and get a degree from a university. This is all the transformational role of platforms of this nature. Of course, governance now and Gov2.0 is not a platform, it's really looking at governance. So your platform to that extent is limited, because what it does is it allows the social media to pressurize the government and ensure that its eyes are opened by what's happening on the ground. That's the purpose of this platform, which is an extension of your Governance Now magazine, which I think is also wonderful. And I personally think that the AICTE, the UGC, many of the departments in the Government of India should actually have sites which link into this platform to ensure that we get access to information that otherwise takes a long time to reach us. But remember, this requires a change of the way we function. And if you get, for example, 2,000 hits a day, who's going to access them? Who's going to deal with them? Because you will want immediate redressal. Do we have the administrative machinery to deal with it? You may actually set out a fact which is not a fact. How do we correct it? How do we inform him that this is not a fact? How long will we take to do that? Do we have the wherewithal at the other end, at the end of the governance structure, to be able to deal with this social media platform? This is a very serious issue, because what will then happen is that you will set up a platform, and if the government does not respond because it has no wherewithal to respond as quickly as you want it to respond, then you will get a media channel saying that, see, this government is insensitive to the needs of the people. how do you respond to that? A mechanism in place is good for the purposes of information, but there should be concomitant mechanisms in place to ensure that you can deal with it. Is government ready for that? I'm not too sure. So, I think this is a very complex issue. It's an absolutely wonderful initiative, but it is fraught with danger. Because the danger lies in the fact that the systems are not in place to deal with mechanisms of this nature. And we need to be ready for that as government. Remember, some issues are exceptionally complex. I don't have the information on my website on all issues that I deal with in government, because we are moving from an era of paper transactions to paperless transactions. Now, all my information is embedded in paper transactions, and this has been embedded in paper transactions since 1947, or even before. So if I want an answer to a particular question, I have to look at papers and documents. I can't go to the website and get answers for those questions. But the one who is asking the question assumes that I have the wherewithal to answer that question, not realizing that this is not a paperless transactional mode through which I can answer. Now, assuming I have information on paper, then I need time to analyze that information. I can't answer immediately. Now, by the time I seek to analyze that information, it'll become a national movement. So there is also a danger of subversion of established institutions when you take platforms like this forward. Through misinformation. And that too is a very serious issue. So I think what should be done is the launch is wonderful, but what should be done is more dialogue and debate as to how to take this forward and what are the contours which are necessary for the purpose to make this platform transformational in a positive way. Because ultimately, what is our objective? Our objective is to improve the lives of the common man or the Aam Aadmi. That's our objective. If people have no water to drink, we should get immediate information so that they get access to water. If there are no sanitation facilities, we must get information that that must be put in place. If people have no housing, right? If some unfortunate incident has taken place and the police is not looking at it, we must make sure that the police reaches there. We shouldn't say who is the accused, who is not the accused, but we should make sure that the system works. We should not be judgmental on social media platforms, which is what is happening. People tend to be judgmental. Instead of looking at the process, they decide upon what the end result should be. And that's the danger. Though these platforms should be looking at processes to empower people for accountability, a process for accountability, a process for empowerment, a process for holistically dealing with an issue. I love when I get information that I am not aware about. I love it because it helps me decide better. So a positive vehicle for me, for decision-making processes to improve. The reason why I'm saying all this is that we must look ahead as to where the country is moving and collaborate with the media and all other pillars of democracy to make the system work, not to destroy the system. Because It's like a tree. If you really, how many years does it take for a tree to grow? Many, many years. You know, it matures and then it bears fruit. It takes years to do that. But you know, you can cut a tree in a day. Or when the fruit falls on the ground, it takes about 3 seconds. So it takes years to bear fruit and 3 seconds to make it fall on the ground. So you can make it fall on the ground, but there is no tree around then. So you might make sure that you should nurture the tree. You should give manure to the tree. You should ensure that the fruit is better. You should ensure that the tree gets healthier as it grows. But don't pluck the fruit and destroy the very tree which we have taken years to build. Thank you very much.